All right, welcome back. Welcome back. This is part 6 video of understanding how to answer those two questions in part 1, where we're looking for a missing ordered pair value, a Y value, and question number 2 in that part 1 video also asks you what equation A, B, C, or D would fit. So I want to introduce in this part 6 video understanding how to find slope, part 1, using slope formula. Now in video part 2, I'm going to show you how to find slope using a graphed line, and then also how to create an equation from a graphed line. And then on this third part of understanding how to find slope, we will go over how to find the slope in a linear function, which I think you may have already been able to figure out, but I want to make it crystal clear. So, hint, hint, hint. This is one of the formulas you could use if you are given an x and y value, a second or x2 value, and a missing y2 value. You could substitute values into the formula either or, and then solve, given the slope as well, solve for your missing y value. Hint, hint. This may be a way to answer one of those two questions. All right. So there's a formula to find the slope. Slope, or m, equals y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Or, if you noticed here, you have a y2 over an x2. Or you could put your y1 value over your x1 value. Y1 minus x2 divided by x1 minus x2. So you can use either of these formulas. I think typically this is the one most people use. You first want to label your ordered pairs. Remember, ordered pair are just x and y values. So in order to find the slope, you're going to have two sets of ordered pairs. Y1, let me start over. X1, X2, Y1, Y2. And that's typically the way I do it. Of course, you can do it any way you prefer. So the first step is to label your ordered pairs. Okay? So what I want to show you here is, right, X and Y represent your ordered pair values. You could either label this X1, and that makes this X2. And if you label this X1, then this automatically is your Y1, and this is automatically your Y2. Or you could label this first term X2, which makes this Y value your Y2 value, and would automatically make the next X value X1, and automatically make that your Y1 value. So it's up to you. Usually, however you start determines everything. I typically go X1, Y1, X2, Y2. Just keeps things simple for me. 1, 1, 2, 2, right? And if you notice, once you label these values, you're going to substitute them into either or of one of those formulas in order to find your slope. So, step 1, label your ordered pairs. I want to leave the formula here. Label your ordered pairs. Organize your values that you're going to substitute into the formula above. Okay, excuse me. There we go. So now you're just going to organize your values. So right here, oh man, a lot of shaking, a lot of moving going on. Here I'm going to use these ordered pairs as an example, right? I have an XY ordered pair and I have an XY ordered pair. 0 for X, 0 for Y, 1 for X, 1 for Y. Now I'm going to label this my X1 value. I'm going to label this my Y1 value. If this is X1, automatically that's going to be your Y1 value, which automatically makes my next X value X2 and Y2 values. Now that I've labeled them, I'm going to organize them so I can clearly see what are my x1 values, my x2 values, my y1, and my y2 values. So my x1 value is 0. I'm just going to put it right here to organize. My x2 value is 1. I'm just going to put it right here to organize. My y1 value is 0. I'm going to put it right next to y1 to organize. And my y2 value is 1. I'm going to put it right next to that y2 value. I'm just organizing these values. Again, if I'm going too fast, please stop, pause, rewind. Or if I'm going too slow, you can go ahead and fast forward if you like. And so let's go ahead and move on. I would like to substitute these values I organized right here, right into the formula. Right? Substitute the values into the formula and then simplify using order of operations. So I'm going to use the formula slope, or m equals y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Right? And the equal sign is me substituting these values. So what is my y2 value? It's 1. I can double check by looking. My y2 value is 1. So where I see y2, I'm going to substitute a 1. Minus, what's my y1 value? My y1 value is 0. I can double check. My y1 value here is 0. So I'll substitute 0 where I see y1. What is my x2 value? I'll look up here. My x2 value is 1. I can double check here. My x2 value is 1. So where I see x2, I'm going to substitute a 1 value. Minus, my x1 value. x1 is 0. Double check. My x1 is 0. I'm going to substitute a 0 for x1. Now I'm just going to simplify. 1 minus 0 and 1 minus 0. I'm using very friendly numbers for a reason. I did not want to confuse anybody. So if you have more advanced numbers, decimals, fractions, you would go through and do the exact same thing I'm showing you. You just want to be extra careful when performing your mathematics. All right. So again, 1 minus 0 in the top, 1 minus 0 in the bottom leaves me 1 over 1. And a lot of times, this 1 over 1 would just be an invisible 1 in front of the x. But if you haven't seen my videos, please watch them. There is an invisible 1 over 1 anytime that x in a y equals mx plus b form. Anytime that x is alone, it's always an invisible 1 over 1 is your slope. So 1 represents the rise. That's a positive up in the y direction. Run represents positive 1 over in the x direction. So up 1 and over 1 is our slope. Using slope formula, again, your slope is your m value. Here it's 1 over 1. Or sometimes you just see that invisible 1, there's underneath the whole number or your coefficient. Always a 1 in the denominator's place unless there's another value given. So 1 over 1 is our slope. Up 1 over 1 in a positive x direction from any point on the given graph. Math is easy. Take it step by step. Thank you for joining me. Again, stop, pause, rewind, watch the video again if you need that extra help. Thanks again.